Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. Today I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 replay cast. Last cast I cast two great North American players, and once again I have another two great North American players. It should be a great match here. Spawning up the top left hand side of the map, Honorgrounds, a 4-player spawn map. It is the Protoss player puCK. So puCK spawning up the top left-hand side of this 4-player spawn map, and we have cross spawns here, as spawning down the bottom right-hand side of the map, the blue Zerg. It is JimRising. I believe in the last game I said, in the last game that I cast, which was actually a JimRising game too, I believe that I said that he is on route, but he's actually no longer on team route, so he's currently teamless, looking for a team. So yeah, so JimRising currently teamless, looking for a team, and I just wanted to correct that I had said that he was still en route when that was not true in the last game. So, we have a pretty standard opening coming out of puCK here. This is Honorgrounds. It's a very macro-oriented map for these players, really, as it's one of the larger ones in the current map pool, and it has that in-base expansion, so that can make it very easy for players to sort of hide tech to sort of expand relatively quickly. But it seems that JimRising's really going to try and turn this game on its head, but that may have sort of have backfired here, as puCK has scouted here. He went straight across here. Well, he didn't go straight across. He went top right for a bit, poked, and saw that JimRising was not to the north. But now he came south with this early probe scout, and he saw the spawning pool timing from JimRising. JimRising going for these early pools here. Or early pools, it seems to be lately. He's trying to catch puCK off guard a little bit, but puCK scouted this, so he's going to be fully aware of what's going on. JimRising trying to harass, I guess, trying to deny this wall getting up, but puCK pulls two probes, forces this drone away, and is going to get this wall up ASAP here. He doesn't want to have any lings march across, but JimRising, he's not even really committing to this. He just skipped the lings early on. Just getting up a queen, going for drones here. He didn't even bother investing into those early lings. He's just going to sort of try and play with this later hatchery that he got as a result of his late spawning pool. Maybe when speed comes out, he'll be able to make something happen. It's not too likely early on this large map here, but it's always a possibility. But so right now, puCK in a great spot here. Gone for a double gateway here, and he's actually playing it very safe. He completely walled off his base. Just not wanting any potential ling floods or anything like that. He's not sure if JimRising followed up his tech with something like a roach warren. It's not likely on cross spawns. And I believe JimRising identified. So both players know where they're spawning here on this map right now. But it's not the best situation for JimRising. But looking at this here, we're seeing pneumatized carapace, a very quick overload speed here. And now this could be for potential Bane drops, it could be for a Queen Bane all-in, or it could just be for scouting here. Oh, okay, and this is completely me sort of on a different tangent here, but I haven't really ever looked at a Queen so close, but I'm looking at the back of the Queen, and it's actually the Broodlord. I never noticed that before. It's sort of the same texture as like a morphing Broodlord has, or I believe maybe even a morphing Overseer. Okay, so anyway, so we have JimRising, these overlords quickly moving across the map now. You can get full and easy scouts. There's not really too much puCK can do to deny this. So JimRising is going to see the Twilight Council, the gateways. However, he's not going to see, or actually he did see this pylon here. That overlord just went right by. And JimRising's aware of this proxy pylon by puCK. He may freak out a little bit, but puCK is going to be going for an attack right now. Resonating Glaives. Now this is a very quick attack. There's no robo for puCK. He's just relying on this proxy gateway here, and that's how he's going to try and get damage done. But look at this. JimRising finds this. He kills the probe, and now puCK's attack is going to be very, very delayed. This is a very nice way for JimRising to get back into this game. puCK sees that his attack was sort of denied there. Just JimRising getting that pylon, getting that gateway, really just sort of gave him all the time in the world, as puCK's not going to be able to attack. He even sees the Nexus there, and he knows that he's going to be very happy. He scouted, there was no robo, so he's going to be content just waiting. Resonating Glaives will be able, Adepts will be able to walk across the map if puCK chooses, but they're really not going to be able to get any damage done. JimRising will be allowed to drone up right now, not really have to worry about anything here, as he's assuming there's no other probe out on the map, and that's a very safe assumption. puCK has quite a few units. He's got a few adepts. He's got stalkers right now. He's going to try and pick off this overlord here. It might get picked off here. Oh, JimRising quickly turns it around, trying to get into that dead zone, and it looks like the overlord will survive here. Going to go sit by his other sort of bleeding friend there. puCK not managing to get any of these, and it looks like puCK is still going to try and get some damage done right now. 6 adepts shading across the map, can get across the map relatively quickly, but certainly puCK would have preferred for them to be there minutes earlier with that proxy pylon there. And now we see JimRising getting up to a 4th base. He's getting 1-1 on the way. And now we're seeing LaughNgamez on the way here. Now, okay, so this is sort of a precursor to what this game is going to turn into. puCK already getting +1 ship weapons. You may be saying, puCK, you don't have a Stargate. Well, puCK suddenly now has 3 Stargates on the way. This is incredibly quick. puCK is going to be going for this incredibly sort of fast, strong Protoss style. If you've sort of been paying attention to anyone talking about balance lately, it's that Skytoss is apparently very strong versus Zerg right now. So puCK's really trying to make use of this. He's trying to get to this quick Skytoss. He's going to have that quick +1. And look at all these adepts. They're just all perfectly just minus, like, what, 5-10 health there? They're all just, I wouldn't say too happy, but puCK got them all out. I believe he only lost 3 adepts there. He traded with a decent number of links, 3 adepts for 27 links. That is a decent trade there. And now we're seeing there's not been a scout on these Stargates, so for all JimRising knows, puCK's sort of gone into a robo. He started getting up forges and whatnot, but no, puCK has gone for an absurdly fast transition, and he's actually going into triple Stargate Phoenix right now. There's no fleet beacon on the way. He's just relying on these Phoenix. So puCK's sort of playing a very unique style right now. He's actually getting up a forge, so he may start +1 attack or maybe shields, but this is a very odd style for puCK. Maybe it's that this is such a large map, he wants to be able to move across, get to shut down attacks and whatnot. puCK double photon overcharge to deny the scout, but JimRising did see it there. Those Phoenix were scouted too, which is very huge, so now JimRising is going to identify that there is Phoenix on the way. Not very quick carriers. And JimRising, he's making a unit which is very useful for Zerg to deal with this. He's going into Hydras right now. He's gone for melee attack, so that's really not going to help him out too much versus the Phoenix, but he's already got that missile weapons queued up right now, so he's going to be getting up upgrades right now. And he is on 4 bases. I'm not sure what these Lings are doing right now. Maybe a bit of a misrally. I believe JimRising probably clicked on maybe the main base of puCK, and the AI sort of bugged out there, not being able to get there. He's going to pick off this adept though. puCK trying to have good vision on the map, but that's going to be shut down. Now puCK is going to be able to pick off overlords with all these Phoenix, and he's still producing Phoenix. This is just very bizarre. A triple Stargate Phoenix is not a common play, and this is why we love North American replays. So I assume puCK is going to maybe go up to like 15, 20 Phoenix, just sort of shut down all sort of overlord vision. And then just rely on Phoenix and sort of sentries with the adepts to hold on until he eventually transitions into carriers. We're seeing oracles now, which are very useful for revelation. So I believe puCK is going to go for 3 oracles, and then he'll transition into carriers behind this. Now puCK is getting up a 4th base. He's actually gotten it up, and he's spamming cannons. A Skytoss player has a lot of extra minerals and not too much gas. So this is what puCK's doing with this, and now he's actually moving into these Phoenix. There's no Spore Crawler for JimRising. He saw the Phoenix, but he didn't really expect this. That one Phoenix picked up a larva. There was a Spore Crawler there, but Spore Crawlers do not kill tanky Phoenix very quickly. Phoenix actually have 180 health, which is very, very high. Now, JimRising, he's doing what all Zerg players want to do versus this style. Kill the Protoss, stop them from getting there, is the consensus to deal with this. But look at the stasis wards are going down for puCK. These oracles have many uses. So many cannons here. There's a decent ground army, more adepts warping in. Well, actually, zealots there, and they're going to have charge here, so it's going to be a decent army for puCK right now. He's going to have photon overcharges. This is just an absurd amount of cannons, by the way. 7 cannons. It's going to be very tough for JimRising to push in. He's going to move in, though. He's going to start picking off these cannons. Photon overcharge goes down. Most of the Ling buffer has gone down. There's Banelings, but they do not have Baneling speed, and puCK's going to be able to come in and pick up all of these Hydras. They're going to get nothing done. The Banelings got decent connections there, but look at this. A large portion of the pot and stasis is not going to get anything done there. All of these overlords, these Hydras have gone down. Now JimRising's having to turn his tail and run. Hydras may be picked off though by these Phoenix. They're so quick. If puCK is paying attention, he'll be able to pick these up. This is only 6 Hydras. puCK needs to pay attention to these Phoenix, and he is. He's going to pick them all off. He lost 1 Phoenix there, but for 5 Hydras, that is a great trade right now. And JimRising is in a spot of bother in this game right now. He's going to be very tough pressed to sort of bring this back as puCK is getting to where he wants. He's getting up a Mothership Core. He's getting out these carriers. I believe eventually he'll throw up a Templar Archives too. Only just getting a Robo as puCK, which is funny enough, as this was very, very late. puCK really had no detection, but look at this, more cannons getting up. puCK is going to entrench into this position, and unlike other maps, there's a lot of maps such as Cactus Valley. I can't really name any others off the top of my head, but there's a lot of maps which are sort of this large, but oh dear. One Baneling moves forward, takes out a Stasis Ward there, but all the rest are caught. JimRising trying to get some cheeky damage and anything done to slow down the Protoss, but he's going to get nothing here. puCK throwing up more Stasis, and look at this. All these Banelings will be lucky if they connect even with a cannon or a pylon. I think JimRising may just run them right in there. Double force field, triple force field. Look at this. This is something that you'd see out of a Reddit GIF right there. Just force field, Stasis, blocking all those units down. And look at this. The Mothership Core comes out there here. And JimRising, he's not giving up hope right now. He's getting +2 weapons on the way, so he's going to have great upgrades on these units compared to puCK right now. But puCK is getting up into this just sort of scary, scary army. He may even move across, but look at this puCK taking down these rocks, looking to secure a 5th base. And as I was saying sort of before I got distracted by those Banelings, this is one of the maps which we haven't seen too much Sky Toss on this map right now, as it has sort of been used a little bit less than when it was first sort of discovered as incredibly strong. But it's still a very strong composition, and on a map like Honorgrounds, it's easy for a 5th base and a 6th base to be secured, as they're very close on other maps such as Cactus Valley. That 5th is a great deal further away. But on Honorgrounds, there's just so much room for puCK to expand. Now, there's a great number of Hydras right now for JimRising, and there's actually just carriers here. There's no splash damage. There's even a few Corruptors here, which are just taking a large amount of damage right now. But it's not looking like puCK is going to be able to kill JimRising. He's got Stasis Wards up, and JimRising cannot run into these Stasis. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, he pulls back just in time as he only loses 3 Hydras to that Stasis for now. He's actually baiting out more. Hopefully he expects that there's more for his sake right now, but this army of puCK is looking very scary. And it's only going to get more terrifying. Templar Archives, Storm on the way right now. We're seeing shields on the way. This carrier count is going to grow. Carriers are not too scary by themselves. They can sort of be traded with by Hydras, by Corruptors. It's when the carriers get the full support of the Protoss, when Void Rays are added in, when there's Storm, when there's cannons underneath them. It's very tough for the Zerg player to be able to break it. These Adepts are sort of just buying time for puCK right now, just messing with JimRising, trying to sort of break his mind, I guess, keeping him so busy. It's very tough for Zerg players to deal with a Protoss army like this, let alone harassment on top of that. So JimRising trying to do his best to hang on right now, but puCK is playing very well. He's getting to this composition. He's building up more upgrades, more gateways. He's got this gold base, so his income is in a very solid spot right now. And if we look at the cost efficiency, JimRising has lost twice the resources already of puCK, and this Protoss army is very cost efficient. There's Templar out, which just are going to punish a Zerg player incredibly well. Now, JimRising trying to make something cheeky happen, but his entire army is revealed by these oracles right now. So puCK is repositioning to push us back. Maybe JimRising was hoping for a Nexus here. There's not. He picks off a carrier there, which is very nice, and there's actually no Templar down here. Actually, there is, but JimRising's just suiciding on top, trying to get the Mothership, but look, there's so many Corruptors are going down. That cost efficiency for JimRising is going to get even worse. Look at all these red Corruptors right now. They're going to move into the main base of puCK right now. They're going to be able to start sort of caustic spraying down these Nexus, but he's not opted for that. Instead, he's sort of forced to pull back and try and fight. These Corruptors are all really one Storm or Archon Blast away, and more Templar are moving in. The Corruptors are trying to get out of the way there, picking off a few of the carriers, and these Hydras are actually getting on top of the carriers right now. puCK not landing the greatest Storms right there, and he's actually doesn't have any more Storm on these Templar. These Phoenix are trying to do much, but their time is sort of past right now. The Mothership Core for puCK is still alive, but it's very weak, so JimRising, that was a great trade by him. He lowered the carrier count. There's only one carrier on the map right now. puCK's only producing 3 at a time, and you may think 3 carriers at a time, that builds up quickly. Carriers are strong. Carriers take ages to build. I believe it's 120 seconds, 90 with chrono if I'm not mistaken. A few Hydras are getting bled off here. And a few of them actually do survive there. Alright, so JimRising, he's getting up a large portion of Hydras. He's just sticking with this Hydra Corruptor, and it's actually somewhat working. There's a carrier around here somewhere that's just popping out. It's going to get picked off immediately. These Corruptors are so tanky. They can sort of hang on. There's Templar out, which will be able to punish them once again. JimRising, though, he's going to force a cancel on this Nexus, or maybe even get a kill right now. Microing very well. puCK forced a cancel. Very well done by him. Hanging on there, these Corruptors. I would really love to see him sort of caustic spray this Nexus, as a large portion of Corruptors can pick it off, but right now he's just flying over the production of puCK. He's got his eyes on these carriers, and he can trade a few Corruptors. If he's picking off carriers, keeping the number low, it is fully worth it. Look at this, he just picked off 2 carriers right there, and he's going to get out with most of these Corruptors. This game is turning around for JimRising right now. puCK, more Templar on the way. He's gonna have a very scary ground army at this point. He's sort of not focusing on the air as much, and that's sort of what's causing him to punish. He's sort of not really just sort of dived on in. He's sort of just tiptoeing as far as Sky Toss goes ever since he lost all those carriers. Now he's going for a ground push, but JimRising, Hydras can trade very well with this army as long as he has a good engagement. Look at all these spores. They're just going to be there to tank his. There's not many carriers to deal with right now, but sort of JimRising may not have been expecting such a strong ground attack after dealing with air units for so long. These Corruptors, they're actually just dead supply right now, so this is actually going to make it very tough for JimRising. These Hydras, they're a little bit stronger than before the last patch, but they're still eating these storms right now. JimRising is going to have a very tough time engaging into this. puCK got plenty of storms saved up right now. Look at this, he's just riddling the map with stasis wards right now. JimRising is going to have a tough time engaging into this. Now we see these Corruptors are moving in once again looking for carriers. They may have actually just missed this, but look at this, they're just going to start destroying the Stargates. One of them's getting shot by a cannon, but one cannon killing this many Corruptors is not going to happen in these Corruptors. Their rate of damage is picking up here. And suddenly, Sky Toss is not an option for puCK anymore. He's even losing his Fleet Beacon. These Corruptors, they can't just be left alone like they could in Heart of the Swarm, as they can sort of punish a Protoss player who just leaves them there. Now, JimRising, he lost his gold base. He was mining off that for a while. He's losing another base, but he's expanded to the left, so he's sort of not in too much trouble right now. puCK has a very scary bank. JimRising is hanging on, though. He's taking much better trades as this game has gone on, despite sort of how it usually trends towards Protoss being more cost efficient. JimRising's been doing a great job getting trades. Look at this. This is so many cannons for puCK here. puCK getting another Nexus. He's built up a very, very high bank, so he's not really in any trouble of running out. This game will go on as long as both of these players keep mining, and they really are set up to do that. So this game is not going to end yet. puCK simply throwing up more Stargates, even throwing up cannons around them, not wanting that to happen again. The Corruptors for JimRising are somewhere, but look at this. So the Corruptors for JimRising are with his Broodlords now. He's actually gotten into that hive tech. He's made Broodlords. So now, funnily enough, JimRising is at a point in which he has the better army. He is the better late game army, as there's no carriers out right now, so he's winning the Sky War. And look at this. This is such a nice drop from JimRising. This is 16 Hydralisks going to unload. They are unloading. The cannons are not going to pick them off in time. And puCK is maxed out on supply. He may have a Mothership Core to recall, and he does, so he could recall if he chooses to. However, look at this. Once again, These Hydras are picking up, well, this tech is going down, but there is these DTs that have just warped in, and Overseer, though, did just morph, so these Dark Templar are going to go down, but they did pick off a great number of these Hydras, so this is really saving puCK's space right now. However, Stargates are going down once again. Look at this. puCK, he knows he's going to lose these. So how many Stargates did he just throw up here? Another 3 Stargates to the right. All right, JimRising. puCK does not want to let this happen once again. Now, these Phoenix are actually having some use. They're coming in, picking off all these Hydras. Broodlords, though, are now pushing forward, and puCK blinks forward. This might have been a bit of a bold move, as there's a large portion of Broodlords here. I believe JimRising should turn and fight right now. These Broodlords can trade very well this army. Storm's being baited out right now. And JimRising knows that he's sort of kept puCK off this sky tech, and once again these Corruptors are going to move in. They didn't quite get the Mothership Core. A few Archons are there. The recall went down for puCK, so he kept this army alive, but he's pulled back, and if we look at this, JimRising sort of has the better army for now, and he's even investing into more Corruptors, as he knows as long as he keeps the sky dominance, he has the better army. The Phoenix are sort of just dead supply for puCK. puCK is actually at 77 workers, sort of oversaturating some of these bases. So JimRising sort of has a better army right now. There's Storm, which is very, very scary still and needs to be respected, but these Broodlords, it's going to be very tough for puCK to engage them here. puCK has a massive bank, but he really needs to be able to deal with this army, and his cannons are all really just going down for nothing. puCK gonna lose another Nexus. I mean, these players all still have so many bases, so they're all sort of just fine. And if we look at this, puCK is actually starting to pick off more bases than JimRising here. But JimRising returning the favor. These Broodlords are just having their way with puCK's base right now. Corruptors are here just in case like a Void Ray or Carrier comes out, so they're gonna be safe right now. puCK may come back to try and deal with this army, as there is Archons, there is Storm, there's Blink Stalkers, there's Carriers. So these Broodlords may be a little overextended. JimRising is pulling them back, though. These Templar are a bit exposed. JimRising would love to pick them off right now, as that's very critical. Revelation is likely going to go down in this army. Loses, no, actually keeps all those Oracles alive, so now this game is sort of turning back towards puCK's favor in a way. He's built up a bit of a air army once again, 6 Carriers, which is very important. He's got the Storm to support them once again. JimRising's trying to engage right now, but this is going to be very tough to... The Phoenix are actually trying to pick up a Broodlord right now. There's the Storm. JimRising trying to bait them out. The Hydras are here, which is very important for dealing with the ground army before it gets on top of these Broodlords. But the Broodlord number is dwindling right now, and JimRising gets a massive Storm there. He's forced to pull back with his Corruptors. They're all very weak. He may get the Mothership, and he does, but this looks to be too many Carriers here. JimRising trying to engage right now. There's a few Hydras on the ground picking off these Archons. The Broodlords are still shooting, but they're all so weak. There's 2 red Broodlords right now. JimRising, puCK, I assume, is just going to be able to pick these off, and it looks like he does. Now, JimRising's in a very tough situation right now. He's been forced to remax, but he does have 3 more Broodlords here. He's continuously pushing, but there is 1 Carrier. There's a Phoenix here for JimRising. Or for puCK, so he can chase down these Broodlords. The 2 Hydras that were there to protect them have been picked off, but it looks like puCK sort of just bypassing this. He could get these Broodlords. This would be a very nice pickoff for him. But if we look at the supply right now, JimRising's on 200. This is not what I expected to see, since both the players have such a huge bank, but puCK burnt through his gas bank. He was denied those fresh bases. He didn't need those for minerals. He was throwing minerals away into cannons, but he has not taken the gases on this Nexus, which he's had for so long. He needs to start mining more gas here if he wants to come back. Look at this, he's going to bleed off another Carrier. This is an expensive gas unit right now. These Corruptors, JimRising invested into 17 once again, and it looks like it may pay off right now as puCK sort of remaxed on this lower tier army. He's building up 4 Carriers at a time right now, which is very nice, but these Lings, these Hydras can trade with these Stalkers now. There is stasis though for JimRising, for puCK, so JimRising needs to be careful. Base out of stasis, very well done there. He's going to get on top of these Hydras with these Lings, and I believe these are Cracklings. Yes, they are. They do have adrenal glands here. The Hydras are coming in great damage there. Very great support for the Lings, and if we look at this, these Corruptors are getting on top of the Phoenix. The Phoenix count is all but gone, and it looks like JimRising may have turned this game around in a brilliant Protoss versus Zerg. puCK is trying to hang on, but he's sort of split right now, and for players in a situation like this, it's very tough for them sort of to pull this back. There's Oracles for puCK back here, but all the bases for JimRising have Spores, and JimRising himself is still doing a very good job keeping his economy up, as this is one of these large maps. Normally a player would be mining out in a game like this. and becoming much more desperate, but JimRising has just been making the right calls to deal with this. Now we're seeing puCK. He's sort of, I guess, gotten fed up with these corruptors. He wants to deal with them. He's making 5 Void Rays at a time right now, which will shred corruptors. He's making carriers, and this is really going to help him get to a scary air army once again. However, JimRising has taken much, much better trades. Oh god, what did I press? Alright, sorry about that. Wrong hotkey there. That was a bit unexpected. Very glad I could get that to go away. Didn't want that stuck there for the rest of the cast. But yeah, as I was saying, puCK's building up this army once again, really making the last-ditch investment into this. He's losing an Nexus here. He's got these Stalkers. He's got so many Zealots, which are going to be great for getting on top of the Hydras. JimRising has a lot of army supply into these Hydras, and losing them is going to be very critical. The Zealots close the gap onto these Hydras very quickly, and look at this. These players actually have bases which are absurdly close. Right now, though, the Hydras are trading with these Adepts, with these Stalkers. JimRising not engaging with his Void Rays, as I guess, or puCK not engaging with his Void Rays, as I guess he didn't feel comfortable. He bled off Zealots there, but now he's making Adepts, he's making more Zealots, he's kept these Stalkers alive. So this is really, this game could come down to this one last engagement. JimRising, he's got a decent bank right now, so he will be able to remax, but he's moving in here. He may need to sort of heat a little bit, as there's this scary army for puCK, and he may not want to engage this. puCK's income has dropped a significant amount as he's sort of lost bases. He lost the base to the bottom. He's sort of been tucked into this right corner now, and he even lost that Nexus there. I believe a corrupt. I'm not sure what the tail was with that. I believe it may have been some corruptors moving in there. I'm not too sure what killed off that Nexus there, but look at this. JimRising has lost some drones somewhere along the way. He's lost them to Oracles, I believe. But he just spits out 20 right now, and he's going to need to remax. Not to lose to a push from puCK, and he's actually moving in here. He's going to engage this ground army once again. puCK a little bit scared to move out with his air army right now. He's just sort of building it up as great as he can. Moving back to his corner. puCK's a bit of a hermit right now. Broodlords on the way for JimRising now. I'm not too sure about this call, as Broodlords only work when you have air control as a Zerg player. And looking at it right now, puCK is sort of winning in the air. I mean, he's got 6 carriers, 7 Voiders, which will certainly beat out 14 Corruptors. So really it's going to be up to the Hydras for JimRising. He's made it work this game, though. I would love to see +3 missile attacks for JimRising as he is continue to use these Hydras, but this is one of those games in which if you're a player, you know everything's so crazy. And we're even seeing Banelings coming out of JimRising. As he's got all these upgrades for his units, he can really go for anything he wants. 12 Banelings will actually help out a great deal. It will force puCK to sort of split to deal with other things. Now puCK has built up to Templar, so this game is turning around. He's sort of built up to this army. I know I've said this game is turning around quite a few times, but puCK's in a much better situation now. He's up on army supply. He's got Templar, so he's got Storm. And so this is really making it more feasible for him to win this game. Once again, it was sort of looking rather bleak when he was down on supply, but these carriers are going to be here. Storm's going down once again for puCK right now. He does only have, I believe he's lost a few of his Templar, and that may have been his last Storm going down, so this simply could just be JimRising taking the game right now. puCK doing a great job pulling his carriers back right now. He's got to pull up to the top of this ramp to hang on. So that was, while not the greatest trade in the world for puCK, it wasn't terrible. He kept most of these carriers alive. The Void Ray shredded the Corruptors here, and that's the main story right now. JimRising's let off a great number of units, but look at this. He's remaxing on Hydras. 18 Hydras on the way for JimRising right now. He's up to JimRising currently at 14 Hydras. He's got the Broodlords, but puCK does still have the scary air army, but he's simply making it work by keeping these Hydras alive. He's got this great wall of spines here, so puCK's going to be very tough to push in here. It looks like puCK is going to bleed off a few of these Broodlords, which is very nice. It's going to give puCK more strength on the ground right now. And to deal with these Hydras, if puCK can get an engagement on top of the Hydras, and sort of then, if he takes out the Hydras, he'll have air control, and he can really just win any engagement at that point right now, though. But puCK, as I said before, he's starting to mine out. He's just resecuring this Nexus, but a nice hit squad of Hydras is coming in. They're just going to simply be able to pick it off. The probes are moving away. This Nexus is finished up. More Hydras are spewing in. The Corruptors are here. So puCK once again taking a hit to his economy. Now he's in a very tough situation. He may be forced to engage here, as this game is getting better for puCK as the game goes on right now. Well, better for JimRising as the game goes on. Oh no, puCK right-clicked on those rocks. That actually gave him a critical second for JimRising to pick off, I believe, 2 carriers there. Any units picked off like that is great for JimRising, but right now JimRising's fighting with really only half of his army, so puCK's taking a decent trade right now, despite him sort of being with his back up against the wall. He's moving and he's engaging on top. A great storm goes down, forcing those Hydras back. Another to take out the rest of the Hydras there. puCK still got more storms banked up, so he's going to get the space. I'd love to see him pull the Templar back, and he does, not wanting to lose any to the Broodlings there. So this game is turning around for puCK, and the reason for that is that JimRising tried to split his army, and it didn't work out right now. Both players relatively low on a bank. JimRising's had a good economy lately, but he hasn't been really banking up this entire game. He's sort of just been trading and trading like a Zerg player needs to do, but a great storm goes down for puCK. This is sort of where it could turn around right now. A lot of these Hydras are very weak. All it's going to take is one or two more great storms for JimRising. But puCK right now, he's let off interceptors right now, so he's going to be in a very tough situation. A sort of warning storm goes out there to push this army back to buy time for puCK's army to retreat, but it simply may just be too much for JimRising. If he picks off this army, he's going to win the game. puCK trying to hang on. He's kept a relatively high army supply despite all this. He's stayed close to max, but JimRising does certainly have the better income, and puCK's income is actually going to get worse and worse. He's starting to mine out one of these critical bases. He is, though, re-securing another one. This is going to give puCK a lot more oomph in this game. puCK trying to get some harassment and really anything to get the pressure off him. And this is such a great Protoss versus Zerg we have here, but we see 34 Banelings morphing for JimRising right now. This could simply be him saying, alright, it's time to end this game. A large portion of the muscle in puCK's army right now is in this ground force. Now a storm can go down, but I'm not sure if storms will be enough here just for puCK to sort of push the Banelings back right now. As 32 Banelings, some of them are bound to connect. There's no force fields, which is one of Protoss's best tools for dealing with them. puCK moving in here, trying to get some damage done. Maybe just push JimRising back a little bit and buy more time. He's just going to do just that. However, this army, only 4 carriers left for puCK. A few of them are weak right now. I would love to see him maybe get a 1 or 2 more carriers if he can. That would sort of really solidify his position right now, but this is looking to be a very scary army for JimRising, and I'm not sure if puCK's composition is up to deal with it right now. We're seeing sort of JimRising poking and prodding. He's a shark. He's been lurking around puCK, just not ready to go for the kill just yet, but this could be the killing move right now. We see Banelings moving and one storm goes down, but that was sort of just a bait batch of Banelings right now. More Banelings are rolling in, puCK not storming. All the Templar are picked off there by those Banelings. The Zealots are moving in, but they're just being shredded right now. It looks like this is going to be game here as puCK leads off so many of his units. He does only have these 4 carriers, so the Hydras will be able to fight the Interceptors. puCK is going to need to warp in more units, but it simply may just be too little too late. He's going to lose this Nexus. And that's going to be game as GG gets called. JimRising takes the game there. Very well played by JimRising. That was a brilliant Protoss versus Zerg from a Zerg perspective. When it comes to Zerg players who've been having a lot of trouble dealing with this Sky Toss, JimRising really showed how to deal with this, and a lot of I guess things had to align for that to work out for JimRising, but it did. He kept mining, he kept all these bases up, he had a great economy the entire time. If JimRising's economy had been interrupted too much, which it wasn't, puCK simply would have just outmassed. JimRising would have fallen apart and crumpled, but no, on this large map Honorgrounds, JimRising kept expanding, he kept his economy alive. puCK was getting some harassment down there, but ultimately not enough, as JimRising sort of had enough to propel him forward there. puCK repeatedly denied expansions, didn't quite get them up. If he had managed to solidify enough after a few of those attacks, he could have held on, but JimRising just kept on the pressure. And it's going to be odd me saying this, but looking at the resources lost, that went very well for JimRising, as sometimes in Protoss versus Zergs with Sky Toss, we simply see the Zerg player tries to throw out the toss and doesn't really get efficient trades at all, but JimRising did there. He managed. It was only a 16,000 resources difference, but when it comes to the map being almost mined out, that's fairly decent for Zerg players, as we simply saw JimRising mine so much more, and that's how he won the game. So this has been a very great Protoss versus Zerg. I hope you guys enjoyed the cast. I'm always looking for great original games like this to cast, so I'm always going to be putting out more content when I find them. So if you feel free, subscribe. As I said, I'm always putting out more content. Feel free to leave a like for this particular video, as I think it was certainly a great game, and I shall see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.